All right, so we just realized during editing this video, there's an update to the Tory Lanez situation. But we wanted to give you our real-time reaction when all various ambiguous narratives were coming out.
Mm-hmm. Where we weren't sure what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just wanted to give you that. So stay locked in. We're going to get you that video as soon as we're done editing this. What up, squad? What's poppin'? Is you ready for another reaction video? Okay, so peep it up next. We got Poetic Flacco. So this title kind of intrigued me. Reason why I'm reacting to it, because it says the real reason Mexicans tried to Tory Lanez today in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So
I could see
my wifey being Mexican, Mexicana, you know what I'm saying? You know, me being a Latino myself, you know, I'm from New York, so things is different out here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Versus over there. I know the politics are different, but I did have a celly that did spend time out there, you know, and he kind of gave me a briefing of like how things go down out there. So that being said, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to comment, subscribe, thumbs up, slap that red button. All right, let's see what Poetic Flacco got to say.
This should be interesting.
Let's see if we get any info.
Incident involving Tory Lanez earlier today has started a race war in his Los Angeles prison, and we're going to explain everything. We got the entire detail. TMZ reported earlier today, a rep for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation confirms that Tory Lanez was attacked by another prisoner in a housing unit at California Correctional Institute in Tahacapahapi. What? Hey, bro, that's a name I never heard before, bro. All right, it's probably a good thing I never heard it. Around 7:20 in the morning, prison staff dashed to the scene and began administering first aid to Tory after calling 911. Tory was then rushed to a hospital off prison grounds to receive more treatment. The CDCR spokesperson did not disclose Tory's current condition. They was plotting on that boy and wanted Tory badly, bro. 7 a.m. in the morning, this when you getting out yourself for breakfast. So to poke this man up before you even had a full meal, before you done filled your belly up?
I'm like waiting for you. You told me some stories already, so I know that that sounds funny.
That's kind of odd. You know what I'm saying? That he got at 7:20 in the morning, got poked up at Chow, or either on the way to Chow, coming from Chow. It kind of just, that part don't add up. And maybe that's just him filling this in because it didn't say it in the report. I would highly doubt, it's highly doubtful that this happened on the way to Chow, coming from Chow, because, I mean, 7:20 in the morning, usually you're in your assignment. You know what I'm saying? You're not, I just don't see that happening. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Chow's a lot earlier than that. But, hey, that just could be Poetic Flacco's take on it and just him mixing it up. I'm just going to chalk it up to that.
I was also going to just put there is that he obviously ain't served time. So he really,
well, obviously, yeah, he's a civilian. Yeah, he's a civilian. So we got to give him grace on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him some grace on that. All right, let's go.
Already.
Doing this first thing in the morning shows, bro, this was on your mind all night. All night. Now, I was told this wasn't in the yard as people is reporting, and this wasn't in his cell. This was in a common area that this took place. Tory's team took to his Instagram to confirm he was indeed stabbed. They will say that Tory Lanez was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torsos, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. This was a murder hit, bruh. If you thought this was anything else than a murder, you're out of your mind, bro. They wanted this man out the paint. They wanted this man gone. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own. Despite being in pain, he is talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through.
Yo, man, our prayers go out to the homie. You know what I'm saying? Our prayers definitely go out to son, because at the end of the day, bro, that right there, for you to survive that, bro, you know what I'm saying? You definitely, hey, you definitely got an angel on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You definitely, yo, God's definitely with you.
He also wants to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. This wasn't over no gambling debt. This wasn't over all the other nonsense we've heard. This was something really serious. This was intentional. This was something that was to send a message, because Tory Lanez have been adapting to the prison life a little too well. And we're going to explain exactly what I mean by that. But first, let's hear from somebody directly at the prison who can confirm that the Mexicans were who stabbed Tory Lanez. Now, this audio comes from Spider-Loc on YouTube. Spider-Loc is a LAOG who was able to tap in with somebody directly from their prison. He recorded the conversation. People I tapped in with ain't want to be recorded. So I'm going to play you guys Spider-Loc's recording, and then I'm going to break down exactly what I heard.
Oh, yeah, I hear you now.
What it do, Kyle?
Yo, I hear you, bro.
What's Gucci?
What's cracking?
What it do, Fight?
Shit, nothing much to look, right? This morning, brother, the Mex came out and bust on the boy Tory. You know, they airlifted him and all that, so, you know, that's going to respond. When we come off this shit, we're going to respond the right way to that.
They laid the yard down?
No, it happened in the building.
The response tell you how they are viewing this. They're not viewing this as an isolated incident, as an incident where somebody in Tory Lanez has some issues individually and things went how men handle it individually and Tory Lanez caught the worst of it. That's not how they're viewing this at all. What happened was a sucker attack, an ambush, an attack from the back, not no man-up stuff. And they don't view this as a one-off incident, as an isolated incident between Tory Lanez and a dude who don't like Tory Lanez. No, they see this as a strategic attack on the blacks. They see this.
Okay, so my questions here is, number one, most of the time, like if there's a hit or whatever, it's not going to be a man up. They just going to poke you. You know what I'm saying? Whichever way they can get you, they're going to get you. It's never like that. You know what I'm saying?
My thoughts exactly.
Number two is he calling when this happened? Is this conversation going on when this happened? Because it's automatic lockdown. And unless you want to celly.
That's crazy. I was just about to ask you that.
But it don't sound like it don't sound like he on a celly. It really don't. It sound like, you know what I'm saying?
Because he's talking a little too like.
Yeah, it's all muffled up. So it does sound like he on a phone. But I don't know. You guys put that in the comments. Did dude call from a celly? Because I'll tell you right now, he be on lockdown. He ain't getting no phone. Everybody locked down. And that's another thing too. I don't see this going down like that because of the fact that it's like, yo, bro, you messing with people's money. So it definitely, if it was sanctioned, it definitely was agreed upon, and there must be more to the story. But let me keep listening.
Yeah.
Because I'm pausing a little too early, maybe, you know, but like I said, you got Poetic Flacco's take, and then you got their take. Hopefully there's more to add to this. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully there's more to add to this. You know what I'm saying? More context.
As a race issue. And that dude just said, yo, we about to tear this place up. It's going to be an absolute race riot. It's a war going on right now. That's because Tory Lanez is an asset. And we're going to explain exactly what Tory Lanez have been doing that made Tory Lanez public enemy number one to the Mexicans. Okay. Tory Lanez is seen as an asset. And just like any war, like if one country is about to attack another country, what they go for? They go for pivotal spots and pivotal assets first and strategic bombings. Tory Lanez is the strategic bomb. He's the asset to the blacks. And he's been an asset in more ways than none. He's adapted to prison politics better than any celebrity I've ever seen, bro. He's entrenched in it right now. Also, Tory Lanez is Muslim. Well, he converted to Muslim. His Muslim name is like Amin Kabab, whatever. Yeah, he's Muslim now. So now those are another politics in the play. This is bad.
What was it over? It was over some. What he had? Did he have a debt, a gambling debt, or something?
Nah, nothing like that. Shit, we don't even really know. We don't even know the whole situation, you know.
So it was just like some foul play. So it's finna be up.
Yeah, it's for sure with some foul play.
Damn, cuz. Wasn't nobody right there with him when it happened? Wasn't nobody right there with him when it went down?
Yeah, I guess nobody wasn't. He was by himself out there. He got a whole tier full of necks. He on a whole tier full of necks.
Wow.
But you already know, once we get off this shit, we press some play on. We press play.
I'm already knowing. God damn. You don't know if he gonna be all right or not either, huh?
Nah, we don't know yet. He gonna be all right there. He gonna pull through though.
Peep the word in here, foul play. When we get up out of here, because right now the prison is shut down, is a lockdown currently going on. But after that lockdown is up.
Okay, so see, they in lockdown, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely. Gotta be
and you yourself, Porter Flacco, got to peep the wording as well. You just said he's a Muslim. They just said, dude on the phone just said that he's on a tier full of Mexicans, right?
Yeah, that's...
You know what I'm saying? Full of Chicos. So that right there kind of makes no sense to me either, because it's like, if he's a Muslim, he's going to be with the brother.
Yes.
They going to put him with the brother. He's not going to be converted and then, over there where he's compromised. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And this is just not adding up. You know what I mean? The fact that they're on lockdown, it just make no sense. This just really isn't adding up. But let me keep listening.
But peep the wording: foul play, foul play, foul play. The only thing that you consider foul play is when you attack damn near an innocent man, or when you attack somebody because of their race and not because they did something to you personally, or you attack somebody strategically to take them out. I'm speaking in code right now because I want y'all to really follow along and get it, but I'm going to lay this all out perfectly. But don't go nowhere. Just keep watching. I'm going to lay this all out perfectly for you, and it's going to make sense by the end of this video.
That's right. That's crazy, because I've been out here. I've been, the whole time he's been going through what he's been going through, I've been feeling like that nigga got railroaded. I hate to see him in that position. I'm glad.
Man, for sure, he got railroaded.
Yeah, he got railroaded. I'm glad that
that's an innocent man in prison, bro.
I believe it, 100%. How he been programming in it? He been programming cool.
Man, all he do is program, come outside, work out, play ball, do him.
That's right. I heard it's been cracking up there too. It was a riot the other day, not too long ago.
Yeah, it was like I want to say like 3 weeks ago, it was a riot.
Yeah, I got.
All right.
50 weeks.
You been straight though?
Yeah, it be cracking up here. Yeah, I been straight. You know me, keeping my head up high. I got 4 months left.
Here's what's...
No. So that's another thing that kind of makes no sense to me either. That's where I would look at it like it can't be sanctioned, bro, because you just said there was the dude on the phone said there was a riot, right? And depending on what the riot was about, you know what I'm saying? A riot messes up people's pockets, bro.
Yes, it does.
The last thing you want to do is get put on lockdown again after, you know what I'm saying, poking somebody up.
Yep.
Now don't get me wrong. Like, it was a vicious, that shit was vicious, bro.
I know.
That hit was vicious, man. That was vicious, man. It took out both his lungs and all of that. Yeah, they wasn't playing. They had that bone crusher. You know what I'm saying? Whoever had that bone crusher. But because California prison is different. Like, the East Coast, I can understand something like that happening. I can understand something like that happening upstate because shit ain't as structured. You got a bunch of gangs, and it's not by race. You know what I mean? Like, in Cali. Cali is all like race, you know what I'm saying? Everything is race affiliated. You know what I mean? In New York, it's more like your gang affiliation or where you grew up at, you know what I mean? So where you affiliated, so blacks and browns, we all, you know what I'm saying? We all in the same, we cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where Cali, the politics are a lot different.
Yes, it is.
But they're a lot more structured.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to get a green light. In New York, you don't got to get a green light. You can expect for somebody to crash out on, you know what I'm saying? And there's no consequences. But in Cali, bro, there's going to get consequences. The same thing happened to you if you didn't get green lighted for that. So I don't get it where somebody would crash out like that for something personal or not. It don't matter. It don't matter how personal it is. Shit runs downhill. The higher ups tell you can't do it. They don't green light you. You don't get the green light. Bro, you don't get the green light. It don't matter how personal it is.
Nope.
Because it's about money. You can't mess up their money. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep it moving.
What's going on? Tory Lanez have been using his money for a lot of good in prison, but he's also been using his money to do a lot of underhanded things in prison. And those things just came back to get him. One instance of Tory Lanez using his money for good is Christmas of last year. Tory Lanez made sure everybody commissary was filled to the brim. If you ain't have commissary, you had commissary that week because Tory Lanez looked out for everybody. Everybody was eating good that week off of Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez have been using his money to really help the facility, really help the inmates. Tory also currently has the Hand of God initiative where he's helping inmates who's facing life or inmates with really long sentences who want to file an appeal, who need legal help filing an appeal. He's helping them file appeals to get back in front of a judge and hopefully get their cases overturned if they're completely innocent. So Tory Lanez is doing a lot of good, and he has really ingratiated himself with the people. People in jail, like specifically the black inmates, the Muslim inmates, they love Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is like a king in there. Tory has also been using his money for nefarious activities in prison. He's been moving like a Don Dada. He's been moving like an absolute pharaoh in prison. Nobody can see or touch Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is really moving like a kingpin in that bit, bruh. He's dropping bags on people. Anybody got an issue with Tory Lanez, bro? You got 100 dudes to go through before you can get to Tory Lanez, bro. I was told personally by somebody, bro, Tory Lanez is terrorizing that jail. Not really terrorizing the blacks because they all run together, bro. But if you look at Tory Lanez the wrong way, you might get done up. Like, not by Tory, just by somebody who want to prove himself to Tory, bro. Like, that's how bad it is right now. And Tory Lanez hasn't been hiding the kingpin. Tory Lanez has been rapping about on multiple songs about how, he's the king of the yard, bro. He putting bags on people if it comes to that. And I was told this ain't no rap cap. I was told this is really happening in real life behind the bars. In a recently released song with DDG that Tory Lanez recorded from behind prison using a jail phone, Tory Lanez actually rapped about some activities he's currently doing in prison, which is running the yard and putting bags on people and getting others to do his dirty work if people get out of line.
Sent me to prison and all that it taught me is if it go down how to stab the shit out you. Tommies and bunkers, the knives, the thumpers, the lock and the sockets, the crack the shit out you. I call a shot on the yard, you a problem. My son out there hitting cash out the shit out you. Standing on business and standing on business. J pay the killers to stand on the witness. COs are hating, they banning my business. They claiming they call me with hands on the titties.
There's one incident in particular I was told about where a dude owed Tory Lanez a gambling debt. Now, I don't know why Tory Lanez is in jail gambling, but he's gambling. I'm assuming to pass time. But here's the thing, bro. When somebody owe you money...
Hold on. Number one, you spoke your fate into existence.
Yeah.
The fact that this is another thing that doesn't add up to me. Did he just recently convert to Islam? Which, I mean, it kind of makes no sense. Was this debt before or was he gambling before? Because, they'll kick you out the nation for that. You know what I'm saying? You won't get kicked out like that, especially in Cali.
Yeah.
In Cali, they don't play that, bro. You can't be Muslim and be out there gambling. Like, people don't mess with the Muslims because they don't mess with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Most people that join, they do it because they don't want to mess around with the fuckery. They just want to do their time and go home.
Yes.
They just want to do their years and go home. And at least with the Muslims, you are protected. You are protected because they deep, man. And a lot of people don't mess with them because they don't get involved in all of the prison bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They don't get involved in all of that with the gambling and the drugs. Like, because number one, you can't be a Muslim in prison or stay a Muslim in prison if you dropping bags on people and you doing all this fuckery. You just can't. Yeah. So that's where there's a lot of contradictions here that make no sense at all. Because at the end of the day, you can't practice, you know what I'm saying, the Islamic faith and then be out there going against the grain. You just can't. And just because they're in prison doesn't mean, they're prisoners and, they're criminals. Yeah, well, maybe they did do something bad in their past life, but once they convert to Islam, once you convert, you can't be messing around like that. You can't do that. A lot of people that convert are lifers. They OGs, they've been there for a while. You know what I'm saying? They got rank and everything. You know what I'm saying? So people ain't gonna mess with them. They most of the time, you know what I mean? If there's an issue going on, they always defend the weak. Mm-hmm. But they also stay out of people's business. You know what I mean? So that's where the contradictory's coming in over here. How he's a Muslim, but he's doing this, that, and the third. Stuff. He's moving like a pharaoh. He's moving like Kingpin. You know what I'm saying? Don Dada. I mean, like I said, this just might be Flacco saying this, and that's what it seems like because it make no sense to me, bro. And like I said, they're making a move on him. Him saying Mexicans did it when they just had a riot. It just this just isn't adding up, bro. This just isn't adding up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not. Let's just keep it moving. Let's go. This is just really confusing. This is confusing me. A lot of this shit, I'm just like, what the is going on here? It just does. It don't sound right.
like in a real world, you can probably say, bro, I'll let it go. I don't care. But in prison, bro, you cannot show weakness, and just letting a gambling debt go like that is showing weakness. So I was told Tory Lanez apparently had money owed to him by this dude. Dude was slow to pay up. Tory Lanez had some dudes jump the dude and beat him up.
Yeah, see that?
Right? Tory Lanez put the bag up. Nah. And I'm not even saying he put the bag up like literally, because I'm sure these dudes would do anything for Tory Lanez behind bars, bro. But it feels like Tory Lanez got a crew of henchmen who is willing to do anything for Tory Lanez. Now,
well, his henchman, if he's a Muslim, what you're saying, so what you're trying to tell me is that he's able to do what he wants as a Muslim and then go over there and then be a gangster. And then, no, prison's too small for that. So there's no way he's doing that and he's a Muslim. There's absolutely no way. You know what I'm saying? If he converted to Islam, there's absolutely no way he's going to be in these activities and participating. Yeah. He's not. They don't play with that. You know what I'm saying? They don't play with that. So, I mean, I think this is just poetic Flacco. Obviously a civilian. Obviously, like, you know, really don't know much about it, even though he's getting what he's getting from, you know, different sources or people. I think he's just reading I think he's reading this wrong.
I do too.
I think he's reading this completely wrong. Now, could it have been a Mexican that got him? Yeah, it could have been. Of course it could have been. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, these things don't just happen out of the blue.
Just for hate or just because, I feel like it today.
Yeah, it don't. It got to be green lighted. It got to be all of that. And the fact that...
most of the time they talk first, right?
Yeah, most of the time they're going to politic. That's when then it ends up going where Mexicans got boots. You know what I'm saying? Then you know they lacing up. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say that. That's why that term is real too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Mexican got boots. You know what I'm saying? If you see all the Mexicans lacing up with boots, bro, you know it's about to go down. You know it's about to go down. And I just don't see it happening where he's part of the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? He's part of the brother. And then all of a sudden he by himself, bro. Like, how is he by himself?
Yeah.
And then how is he getting he's filling everybody's canteen, but he's on another tier with just Mexican. This just makes no sense to me, bro. This makes absolutely no sense to me.
I got a theory, but I'll wait to see first.
Now, I was told that Tory Lanez have had some cross pathings with some Mexicans or cross paths with some Hispanics in there that ain't go well. And they're beginning to feel that Tory Lanez was having too much power in that jail, bruh. They was beginning to feel like, Tory Lanez is bringing in cell phones, bringing in drugs, allegedly, bro. I don't know. Allegedly, bro. All right, allegedly, bro. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Allegedly, bro. All right. But when you're a Mexican and you look at Tory Lanez and you think of it as a war going on, or let's say war is pending, and you look at Tory Lanez as a valuable asset, because he's a multi-millionaire, he's able to bring in shanks, bring in drugs, right? Bring in resources, bring in certain things that's, that the blacks can use. And when you're a Mexican, you sit back and you look at that as, hold on, bro. Tory Lanez and us done had a couple run-ins that ain't go well. He's putting bags on people's heads in this jail. He's causing a lot of trouble. He's building up a lot of resources for the blacks. Something got to go. So some crash dummy. I was told, the dude who stabbed Tory Lanez, him and Tory Lanez ain't even really have no issues like that, to be honest.
Okay. So it might be a COD inmate, but it don't make no sense because those inmates wouldn't be, they wouldn't be in General Pop. They wouldn't be in GP. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get it, man. Like a lot of this stuff isn't adding up.
That's what talks about, like, playing telephone.
Yeah, it does, because it's kind of like I'm reacting to this and I'm looking at this and it's like, bro, he ain't.
There's so many questions. There's more questions with this video.
Is he in could you say he running the yard? But then they saying he's a tier over. And like I said, bro, you know what I'm saying? If he didn't have no beef with him, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, you got to ride with, whoever your race is over there. You know what I'm saying? You got to ride with him. But it'd be more than one. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that, and especially if he had these issues, bro, you have to stay on your toes. You know what I'm saying? You got to have, your eyes open.
I mean,
if you knew you had beef like that,
especially if you know you by yourself.
Yeah, but that's another thing that makes no sense. He said you got to go through 100 dudes. So he's saying that Tory always got, a group of people with him. And somebody like Tory would. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of make no sense how he's just left out there. He does all of this stuff. He fills up people's canteen. You know what I mean? everybody going to canteen, you know, on Christmas and this, that, and the third, and they just leaving him out there like that, and he's bringing all this stuff in. I don't feel like somebody like that would be moving alone or moving, you know what I'm saying, that light.
Yeah.
And get caught lacking like that.
Yes.
So you guys got to explain that to me.
This was a targeted hit. This was strategic. 14 times, they're coming to kill you, bro. I was told this was strategic. This was to take out of valuable resources for the blacks in jail. Tory Lanez was just somebody who they thought was, if you take out Tory Lanez, that takes away a lot of the resources the blacks currently have. Right? But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think, okay? Now, I will be doing an interview probably tonight or tomorrow with somebody who's actually in the same prison that Tory Lanez is currently at the same place. And he actually will give you guys the full scoop. Because I can't really say certain things because I don't know if it's my place to say it, but this person will be able to give the full scoop. So look out for that, okay? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere.
All right. So, I would definitely like to hear what that person got to say and what's really the scoop. Because at the end of the day, the math ain't mathing over here. The math ain't mathing over here. You know, like I said, I never served time in Cali. You know what I mean? Like I said, New York's totally different. Upstate is totally different than how y'all is in Cali. But like I said, bro, I had a celly and, we traded stories, and he's like, it's totally different out here. You know what I'm saying? Because he's seen the mixture of people. And he was always like, damn, man, it's cool over here where you ain't got to, you know what I'm saying? Choose this and choose that. But then again, he was like, yeah, but then when he's seen all the craziness, he's like, damn, man, they could just do that? I'm like, yeah, bro, like, they ain't politics like over there. They don't politic like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's a hierarchy out there where over here, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you would expect something like that to happen. That makes sense. Latin Kings is Latin Kings, is Bloods, is Crips, you know what I'm saying? But you could be a Latino as a blood, you know what I mean? And you would, you'd be in the same, population with them, you know what I mean? They don't mix it up by, they don't say, hey, it's real mixy out here. Yeah. Out there, it's not mixy. You can't be mixing out there. So, and then the fact, like I said, that he's a Muslim and all of these nefarious activities you're talking about just make no sense, man. Yeah. It just make no sense, bro. And it make no sense why he would be at Chow at 7:20 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It just make no sense how he'd be by himself going to Chow on top of that. You know what I'm saying? You think he'd be with people that, is from that tier, from that section. You know what I mean? So it makes no sense, because they do it by sections. Not everybody in the prison is going to Chow at the same time. It's different times. You know what I'm saying? So they, you know what I'm saying? They said they hit it up and they said, yo, get ready for Chow. And then you line up for Chow. You know what I'm saying? You go down to the Chow house. So I don't know what's going on, bro. Like I'm just really confused. It really don't make no sense. Yeah. To me, it don't feel like it was a sanctioned hit from, you know what I'm saying? From Miami or any of them crews. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like any of these crews would do that because it just mess up business, bro. After just being on a lockdown because they had a riot. Why would they want to lock it down again? I mean, shit has to be really that bad. It has to be a war. Yeah. Now, if that's the reason why it's they've been on lockdown is because it's war, then I understand it. But at the end of the day, nobody want to mess with their money. And then all wars come to an end because people start getting hungry. People start starving. Yep. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know what y'all think. Y'all put it in here, bro. This one would have been good to call up your Uncle Dan and got him on. Uncle Boy. You know what I'm saying? This would have been good to call up your uncle and be like, hey, yo, does this make any sense? We got some questions. What's going on over here? With that being said, let us know what y'all think in the comments. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to comment, scrap thumbs up, slap that red button.